It's your boy One Three. You now tuned in to All Facts, No Opinion Sport Podcast. I'm your host One Three. We don't let nothing marinate. We get straight to the sauce. Everything saucy. YouTube, what up? Shout out my co-host Santos Boxing. You already know what it is, man. We putting pressure in pain, man. We putting pressure in pain, baby. It's all about the work. But you know what it is. YouTube, send out those notifications, man. Send out those notifications, man. You know, Louis in the building, man. Louis in the building, baby. Send out those notifications, please. Please send out those notifications. You know, but besides that, you know, we gonna run it up. You dig me?
Chip. 1-3. For all you niggas hating, here's a warning shot. I'm really in them trenches where you niggas not. Rolls from the slumbers, cops hit the block.
We gonna cook today, baby. Trust me, we gonna cook today.
62 grams if a nigga flop.
Trust me, we gonna cook today.
Shorty hit my number, but she called block. Everybody not a gunner, fraud stop. Got me feeling like Fab when the ball drop. Coke boy like French flood the whole block. 18-5.
We game all night. What up? What up? What up, broski?
Big fish in the water, frog stop. I'm everywhere in the city, y'all not. I'm up 5 on you bitches, check the shot clock. Point 1 for the win, I'm in a hard
Yeah.
Diamonds dancing on you bitches while I
Yeah, they gonna upload it.
I'm the one, call me Big Op. 50 in a drum and stop your man dreams. Beam on the tip, Glock submachine. Sitting at the top,
Yeah, y'all already know.
Shorty hit my phone trying to roll E. Highlights.
I gotta put on for the game, baby. I gotta put on.
She adore me.
Yes, sir.
Hate a lot in the pain drawer.
Man, we fight now. We fight now. I got you, broski.
Hot spit the block, see that K talk. 17 full brick.
I got you. I got you.
Bitch, I'm on game with the game caution. Rest in peace, your whole game with the game offer. You my target, motherfucker.
Yes, sir. I appreciate all of you.
VVS cut stones white, motherfucker. Get ice, motherfucker.
Y'all ready? YouTube, send the notifications out, please, please, please. Get me cooking, baby. Get me cooking.
I'm getting rich,
Nigga, pardon me.
Real street nigga, the hood on me. Black and Mary jeans with his RT. Running up the digits with the offering. 6-figure deals plus marketing. Crushing all these bitches at the offering. Lay the foundation like a carpenter. And some footies like yay, we the mafia.
Yes, sir. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. Let's talk it. I'm the champ, baby. I'm the champ. I'm the YouTube champ. I'm the YouTube champ. You understand me? It's time to cook, man. You know how I do it, man. You know how I give it up, man. We gonna keep pressing and pushing. You know, YouTube, send out those notifications. I'm trying to cook. I want to cook. I want to cook. I ain't get an opportunity to go live yesterday, which I did. Shout out my brother Mill City Boxing. Shout out Undisputed Champ, Zab Judah. Shout out Michael Fox. You know, shout out to everybody that pulled up yesterday. I appreciate it. You hear me? But it's a lot going on in boxing, y'all. It's a lot. Yes, sir. Shout out my bro TV Fight All Night TV. I need y'all to go over there, tune in. You hear me? Hey, yeah, Zad, one of the Rumbles, man. Shout out Zad, man. Shout out the champ, yo. Yesterday was.
What I said, it's a gym, nigga. Flush everything if they hit, nigga. When I hit the block, I hit the bando. Whip it to it, rock,
Borderland Bowl.
When I hit the block, I hit the bando.
You know, Brian on the senior was in the chat, you know. They called me Johnny Ortiz a while ago. It was crazy. That shit was diabolical.
Whip it to it, rock, Borderland Bowl. Bitch from out of state, let her wipe
it down.
Every low she move, keep her mom around. Show her how to mob like LeBron in town. 745
Glock on pound.
Extender on the 5, bet I chop them down.
Yes, sir.
French Montana when the ball drop.
But yeah, man, it's a lot to dissect. You know, it was a lot of breaking news yesterday.
Keep a drum for the locals and the whole SWAT. Treat the shit like
yeah, it was a lot of breaking news yesterday, man. You know, Charlo. Hey, what's up with the Charlos, man? Well, we know Mel cool, but what's up with Maul? You know, could we really be getting that Maul and Caleb Plant fight? Don't tell nobody I informed you.
When I hit the block, I hit the bando.
Let me send these notifications out. You know? But besides that, yo, you know, already know what it is. It's All Facts, No Opinion Sport Podcast. We don't let none marinate. We get straight to the sauce. Everything saucy. You already know your host, Louis 13. And you know my guy, my broski, my co-host, Santos Boxing. You know I gotta hold it down for us. Shout out my broski. You already know. We fight now. So we fight all night. You know what I mean? This is my brother, man. Shout out my brother. We Fight All Night TV, man. Go over there, tune in. You want your latest boxing news, especially MMA, UFC, Zuffa boxing. Hey, my guy corner in the market, and we game too over there. You know, go over there, hit that subscribe button, tune in to my brother. You know, shout out Broski Frontline. You know, shout out Mill City. Shout out Zab Judah. Shout out Mikel Fox. You know, hey, yesterday was cool. Yesterday was lit. You know, but it's big news splashing. You know, Keith Conley, majority all his fighters, you know, going the Zuffa route. You know, could Edgar Berlanga be a new signee to Zuffa? And me, you know me, I had to double check. I had to double check on things. You felt asleep. Yo, that joint got crazy. You hear me? We fight all night. That joint got crazy. But it's like Keith Conley, all of his fighters going to Zuffa route. But the key thing that I looked up is Zuffa is really a promotional company, y'all. You know, and it's a promotional company. And hey, toe to toe, what up? Shout out toe to toe boxing, y'all. I need y'all to go over there, tune in to Broski. You know what I mean? Listen, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button when you go to toe to toe. We fight all night. Please, y'all, please show love, you know. But yesterday was fire, man. But looking at Keith Conley's situation, you know, all of his fighters, you know, going the Zuffa route, you know. Zuffa starting to remind me, you know, we seen when Al Heyman and them got the billion PBC happened in 2015, made a big ass splash. We seen Eddie Hearn, but Eddie Hearn shit was light because it was like a lot of hate when Eddie Hearn came over to the States back in 2016, 2017. But this is no lie, y'all. Right now, Zuffa, like how they coming out. Yeah, I was on Mill City yesterday cooking. You know, it's reminding me of PBC, you know, even the out, like the image of them posting up all they fighters. That's how PBC came in the game, you know, running shit, you know. And, when you look at Zuffa, you know, when you look at the competition that they signed, you know, they got some heavy hitters. Now, you know, I'm happy that they're a promotional company. You feel me? I understand they doing like the Zuffa boxing, whatever. It's cool. But, you know, if you build your fighters from there, you know, deal with the body sanctions. That's all I say. That's all I state. Because fighters really want those titles, you know. Even though I probably was grinding Devin Haney up yesterday, you know, one thing about Dev, and I respect what Dev said, you know, in front of Matt on the ring, you know, when he was a co-host on the ring, and he had to inform Max Kellerman, Mike Coppinger, and the other brother, you know, like, it's nothing like getting a title. It's nothing like dealing with these body sanctions, because this is what we grew up on. Nobody ain't grew up on Zuffa, but the kids that's growing up now and that's being born. But right now, like everything that the Muhammad Ali Act stand for and all of these body sanctions, wouldn't you think Top Rank would have been created their own belt? Wouldn't you think WBC would have became, every body sanction would have became their own promoter, bro? Every body sanction would have became their own promoter and host their own fights. Damn, they zapping me already. It's crazy. But hey, fuck it. I'm still on here. You know, we gonna cook. I don't know why they zapping me. we'll pull back up later and I'll cook you niggas, man. We can cook later. I'm gonna pull back up on my guy, man. Shout out Mill City Boxing. Shout out Zab Judah. Shout out, Michael Fox. It was a great live yesterday. Shout out my broski, GHDTV. Go over there to Greg Hackett TV. Go over there, subscribe to my brother and them. Greg got my son to win a champion. My son won his first title. You know how you win titles to be trophies, but the first belt, my son was 2-time champion. When he became a 3rd-time Golden Glove champion, Greg was in the corner. My son was fighting a tall ass nigga like Fendora, bro. Game plan was on a beam ski. Got the victory. I congratulated him. I even hit him up on the DMs, because they all in the gym. So I, if you can, and they do it, they whole team fight. Shout out Dunk. I would love to see them brothers go over there to Zuffa to get that check. Me, one thing about me, man, I love the sport of boxing. I'm not a fan of nobody. When I was a fan of people, that was back then. Shout out Zab Judah, like Zab. I love the Zab. I always felt though, when Zab was at his prime, his peak, like we can go back to like 99, bro. Mayweather should have got in the ring with Zab at that time, but Zab was a different animal. He was a different beast. Zab was a different motherfucking beast, y'all. It's just when that Costa Zoo fight situation took place, I wish my brother would have just, took the 8 count, sat on his knee, took the 8 count, got up and demolished him. Because when you watch the first round, we just watched the first round. Costa Zoo was there trying to get his footing on his ground, but Zab was too much for him. But that second round changed the whole game plan. And a lot of people learned, well, this new generation at the time, when you was born in like 98 and all that, and people go back and watch this fight to show that every boxer got a puncher chance, But that's why MMA is different. You feel me? MMA, that shit kind of different. But hey, we fight on night TV, but they in 4 rounds gloves, right? MMA, like they like the gloves they wear, they like 4 ounce gloves, if I'm not mistaken. Are they lower than that? But they shit comes with kicks and knees and elbows, like bare knuckle boxing. Shout out Juggernaut, Juggernaut the truth. Juggernaut the motherfucking truth. You know what I mean? Hold a belt in two divisions, if I'm not mistaken, light heavyweight and heavyweight, or is it cruiserweight and heavyweight, how the bare knuckle is, but getting back into the boxing and to Zuffa, Edgar Berlanga going over there, it will be a big splash. Could it be Edgar Berlanga and Chris Eubank Jr.? But see, a lot of people not understanding. People thinking, they signing the Zuffa, so they're gonna fight on the card. Yeah, 4 ounce, right? Okay, I just want to make sure. But the key point that I'm getting to is they're a promotional company, y'all. And that's one thing I had to tighten up on. Like, they're a promotional. You feel me? Damn, they zapping me, y'all. Turkey is a promoter. Nick Khan is a promoter. Ari Emanuel, TKO. These are promoters. And I just like for them to come into the promotional field like they is and take over like that. Stop trying to. We see what Dana, they doing the PBC model, y'all. Zuffa Boxing is doing the PBC model. You don't believe me? Just go look at their joint and just look at the fighters that they got signed and go back to 2015 and watch how PBC came out. But PBC came out with all heavy hitters. Supposed to be. Yeah, me too. I thought it was Berlanga Resendez, because Berlanga came out and stated that shit at the ring when the Ring magazine had their award show. They all in line, and he put they bitten and shit, and then he put the joint to show Resendez, and he said, "Oh, that's my op right there." The next thing you know, that shit just got taken from him. Then Charlo ended up with it. And I'm like, damn, I thought Charlo was gonna fight Caleb, but it looked like he might fight Caleb Plant, which is a fight that we really want, But Munguia got the opportunity, the babyface Mexican, the babyface Mexican, that nigga looked like he's 6 months. Munguia got a 6-month-year-old face. Real rap. If I was to fight McGill, I wouldn't punch him in the face because I think I'm punching on the baby. No entertainment purposes only. Know what I mean? But no, it's just crazy outside, y'all. It's just crazy out here. You know, where the fuck is John at? But yeah, I want to get on to this. Do you think? What do you think about that Charlo situation? I don't know, man. Like I want to know what's going on because hey, toe to toe, he looked at like he in good shape. He in great shape. You know that boy in great shape. You know, but I don't know. I just seen him with Ronnie. Gave Ronnie the WBC towel. You know, it was more things added to that. You know that he was bringing out. He ain't show the money, but I don't know, man. And I'm gonna be real. I always felt though Mel. I always thought Mel was the more of a dog, you know, because Big Charlo Maul, you know, his jab is crazy. Uh, but whatever happened to him in the background, man, I don't know. It looked like somebody slipped him a Mickey. That's all I'm saying. And the only reason I state that because somebody slipped my cousin a Mickey. And the way Jamal Charlo was acting and how he act and move, my cousin act like that to this fucking day. I had two cousins. Two cousins. They slipped a Mickey on two of my cousins, yo. Know what I mean? And how Jamal Charlo act, that's how they act. No, but that's crazy. I think it's back to the. It could be. It could be depression toe to toe. You know, because listen, we really don't know what these fighters go through behind the scenes. And what I mean by that, if Diddy and them was doing some crazy shit, what the fuck you think these other top promoters are doing? What you think a Floyd party is? I mean, like, and that's the key thing a lot of us need to tighten up on too and understand, like what the fuck is these fighters really going through? You know? What are these fighters really going through? You know, and shout out to Keyshawn Davis giving his life to the Most High. But he broke down, you know, yeah, that's a fact though, right? Keyshawn giving his life to God, but you know, he break down the situation of his friend passing that was like his brother. But the key thing I always take from Keyshawn when he was mentioning the PEDs, and shout out to Ak and Bach and Barack on the All Smoke Show situation. Barack said the key thing that had to happen because he been tweaking for some facts. He been tweaking for some years, bro. Charlo been like, it had to me personally. I thought they slipped him a Mickey. You know, because at that time, if you look at it, Maul was a threat to Canelo. You know, that's all I'm saying. You know, people need to understand. People would do some real weird, wicked shit. Don't believe me? Shout out the beautiful Lisa McLean. You know, shout out to G man. You know, y'all can go back and check her interview out with Andre Ward. Shout out to the Ring of Brotherhood, you know, Foundation. You know, a lot of us commentators, you know, a lot of us analysts, you know, and people that love the sport, you know, we can help these brothers too and donate. I don't care if it's $2. You feel me? You donated something, you know, because when he went across the pond to go fight Nigel Benn was on steroids. I hope people know that, right? People got to remember the Muhammad Ali Act do not apply across seas. So you know, if you're an American fighter and you traveling across the pond, you know everything that's illegal over here is legal over there. And you know 9 times out of 10, they're gonna do their best to cheat a motherfucker from over here to over there. You feel me? I'm just saying though, I'm only keeping it tall. Because when you look at the G-Man situation, first round, if your body, that's what I tell people, if you knock a fighter out of the ring, the fighter got 20 seconds, right? If you drop him in the ring, he got 10 seconds, right? It's a 10 count. Outside the ring, it's a 20 count. So if I knock you out the ring, but your feet is still in the ring, bro, it's still a 10 count, even though the ref counted up to 13, but his count was suspect. And then you watch Nigel go to the corner, then you watch him come back out in the second round, and you seen how he acted, all amped up, all amped up. And shout out to Kevin who exposed that Nigel really was on steroids. Not it really exposed because what I'm getting to about the Mickey situation. Remember when G-Man was over there, remember his mouthpiece was missing. And shout out to Lisa McClain who came out and put the icing on the cake and lit the candle. Now it's up to us to blow the shit out to let the world know, like, yo, and the world already know that it really happened. You know, the BBC, you know, the British Boxing Commission, you know, over there is once the fight over, you go to the locker room, take your urine. Did Nigel Benn go to the locker room? No, he faked the pass out just to go to the hospital to get plugged up to an IV to clean himself. Never took a test. Never took a test. Never. I'm just giving the awareness that's in boxing that what certain people do and cheat. And that's how I felt about Maul. I thought Maul would slip the Mickey. Because the way he acting, that's how a person with a Mickey act, bro. You feel me? Unless George Foreman punched that nigga in the back of the head. Know what I mean? In the trenches somewhere. I'm just saying. Because I always remember when Foreman hit Joe Frazier and how Joe Frazier went down, I said, damn, that nigga hit hard. I want to punch like that. If I punch like that, nobody can beat me. You know what I mean? Shit, if I was punching hard like George Foreman, nigga, nobody can beat me. Nobody can beat me. But, you know, Don King was Don King. You know, and shout out to all the Ohioans. You know, Ohio run boxing, y'all. When you look at the top dogs, the top promoters and shit, them niggas was running boxing. You know, and them niggas, they know the business, man. They know the business. They know the business, man. You know? But yeah, getting back to this Dalton Smith, Alberto Puello fight. It's going across seas. You know where it's going at. And Puello, all I can tell you, Domi, is be ready, my nigga. You better be ready. You better take all the supplements that Dalton Smith taking. Because you seen what happened to Matias. Them niggas got scared. And Puello, mira, tú sabes, the second half of the fight. The second half of the fight. Because when you look at Dalton Smith versus Matias, that was a bullshit stoppage. And if that fight would have won another round or two, Matias would have got the stoppage. Just look at the second round, look at the third round. Just look at him going back to the corner. Look at his legs. See me, I pay attention to the person's legs. I pay attention to your footwork, and I pay attention to your legs. Your legs mean everything. Your legs is gonna carry you 12 rounds. You feel me? If your legs ain't right, nigga, you ain't right. I'm just saying though. Know what I mean? If your legs ain't right, you ain't right. If your legs ain't right, you ain't right, you know? That's all I'm saying. You know? But like I say, man, I love the sport of boxing, man. I love this shit to the death, yo. I love it. You know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Boxing is beautiful, you know, but sometimes, you know, it be a lot of fanboys out here, yo. It be a lot of fanboys out this joint, you know? Be a lot of fanboys, man. Hey, toe to toe. Listen, man, we on the same page, bro. See, these niggas be tweaking. They be tweaking. But you know, shout out to Charles, man. Shout out to Charles, because boxing needs the Charles. Listen, boxing needs PBC. PBC still got all of the best fighters. Boxing needs PBC.
Bitches love the boy. shit all day. Real dope dealer, bet 10 chains. 2 Audemars, all brick age. Plug in Puerto Rico, trip NBA. Meetings on dude, talking big weight. 5 in the mail,
Yes, sir.
bitch face. Fuck about a shore, no trade the place. Flush a whole half at the Mandalay.
Yes, sir.
I'm not your
I'm not your ordinary.
shipping on the boat, coke short.
Timmy T, what up? Hey, Tim, what up? Well, yesterday was popping, man. Yesterday was popping. Hey, Tim, what up, though, man? What you think about these Zuffa cats? What you think about Kevin Conley, all his fighters going over to Zuffa, man? Everybody going over to Zuffa. Everybody going over to Zuffa. Different outside, y'all. I'm just saying, it was different outside. Wisconsin. I'm a sponsor. You know, sometimes, yo, when I do my commercials, man, I gotta play my music. You know, I'm sponsoring myself right now. You know, the gate's open for any. You need sponsorship. You can help your business, man. We got a wide reach. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in on Facebook. I appreciate you. JR, what up, my nigga? What up, broski? Hey, Des, what's up? What's up to my cousin Desert? You know what I mean? Shout out to Barbamania. Tri-State, South Jersey, especially in Philadelphia, Chester, Delaware, etc. Yo, you need a cut, come to Philly. Barbamania, man. I promise you, man. I promise you. Great environment, beautiful place, you know. Very, very sociable, you know. You're gonna like the atmosphere, you know, and you're gonna leave out with a shortcut. You know, you can ask Benny the Butcher. Shout out Dart Low, AR Ad, Free Ad. Shout out Gone, shout out Pound Side Pop. You can ask these brothers, they gonna tell you. I like Top Rank. We're gonna hopefully we can Xander versus Duke, range grade 4 versus Crosshair at 130. Yes, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. That's definitely gonna happen, Timmy T. You know, I'm happy for Top Rank, but you wanna know what's so crazy to me, Timmy T? When that situation happened, I started to think. Remember when Eddie Hearn came over here with the zone, gave him that $1 billion, and he came over here and nobody was trying to fuck with him? Nobody was trying to fuck with him. Now look at Eddie Hearn in the zone. The only promotional team they missing, well, it's really 2 of them. Really, I can't say, you know, which is really, it is true. PBC and Zuffa. PBC and Zuffa is the only top promoters that got their own, you know, that's doing their own thing. PBC with Prime, you feel me? Jeff Bezos and them niggas got stupid paper. You know, Al Heyman got real stupid paper, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. Al Heyman, they got real stupid paper, you know? But at the end of the day, shout out Zuffa over there in Paramount. And it's like the zone just conquering shit. Because everybody that didn't want to deal with Eddie Hearn when he came over to the States, now they all fuck with him with the zone. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know? That's crazy. But hey, I'm happy for Top Rank. I'm happy for Top Rank. And he still, you know, but 8-10 card fight, you know, it's gonna be fire. No, but Timmy T, you know what I'm thinking is gonna happen? I don't know, people, but listen, I got a feeling Eddie Hearn trying to make it more easy for Boots because people at 147 gave him a hard time. If Xander versus Boots happen, who will you root for? You know, I'm going with Philly. I'm riding with Boots, man. I'm riding with Boots. But I think Xander and Kelly's gonna happen. Cause I came across something supposed to be Boots and Madrimov. And Eddie Hearn might push that. Eddie Hearn probably said, I'm gonna put you in there with Madrimov so you can knock Madrimov out, be the only person to not come out. And then right here, the winner out of that, you automatically fight. Because Josh Kelly is already on your motherfucking contract. And Xander Zayas, you was Mando because when you moved up, you couldn't get the chance to fight Tellez because Tellez fought the Baz Baru. You know, and Lubin was in purse bids with Bakram. So now, since Kelly got the opportunity, and both of y'all contract, if Kelly win the title, you know, you and Josh Kelly supposed to fight. So we know that's Mando with Matchroom. But when you look at the WBA side, like Boots there, but no, if Kelly and Xander can make it happen, and Boots just can make a one-stop shop and just fight a one motherfucker for all 3 titles, hey, gotta make something happen, right? Because I don't think it's going to happen April. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Boots still got the April 18th date. If I'm wrong, I'll let y'all know and come back and tighten it up. The zone is not as big as people think it is. It's not. We game all night. I agree with you. Boots definitely needs a more solid name, though. I agree. I'm gonna be real. I don't think Marjamov should be. I was on Mill City yesterday, and we were saying Rashidi Ellis. Rashidi Ellis would be a great fight for Boots at 154 because we wanted that shit at 147. And I'm gonna keep it all the way. Rashidi Ellis is way, 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 way better than Marjamov. I bet you Rashidi Ellis will knock Marjamov the fuck out. Like 4 or 5 rounds. You know? Because people look at Rashidi Ellis doing his Roman Villa laws. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, only thing Roman Villa had was the knockdown. So if you take the knockdown away, like Rashidi was whooping Roman Villa ass. Can Xander stay on the outside and outclass Boots? That we're gonna have to find out. I mean, it's better than Tubi, but it doesn't change anything about the landscape of boxing. Maybe across promotions, but now we still not getting like. I agree right with you. We fight all night. I agree right with you. I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you. You know, the zone is like the British ESPN. You know what I mean? Just with an app. You know, that's all it is. You know, it's a streaming company. You know, it's just like ESPN, but on mobile devices and etc. It's just a streaming company, you know, but when you look at it and you look at the landscape of it, they play all sports, you know. But I can agree with we fight all night, you know. I fully agree with him. I mean, it's better than Tubi, but it doesn't change anything about the landscape of boxing. Maybe across promotion now, but we still not getting lots of big fights. And that's true. We still ain't getting no big, motherfucker big fights. I watch a nigga say, oh, this is the big. No, the fuck with. Listen, this is no disrespect, no shade, no blame. But when Turkey came in the game, we ain't get the big fights. We ain't get Canelo versus Benavidez. We got something we never asked for. You feel me? Canelo, we ain't want that shit. We wanted Canelo Benavidez, Bud versus Boots, or Bud versus Virgil, which was supposed to happen. Rashidi been shadow banned for some reason. Seems like his career. Listen, I'm glad you mentioned that toe-to-toe, because when Boots signed to Eddie Hearn, I felt the same way. I said, damn, is this another Boo-Boo Andre situation? You can't land no big fights. You can't get no big fights, you know? No, that's how I was looking at it, you know? That's how I was looking at the situation. And that shit was real. That shit was real. Run up here real fast with these niggas on. You know? But boxing been great though. But the top of this year, yo, we getting a lot of good fights. But like I said, Turkey, he ain't give us no big fights. My fault. Hold on, yo, I got it. Go ahead, man. Man.
I gotta load and get them 2-round things so they can stay on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Eddie's a little fishy when it comes to big fights. His fighters on tune-ups most of the time. That's a fact. Because he sent him on a European tour. He did that shit with Canelo. When Canelo got that $275 million for them 7 fights, that boy went on the European tour. Oh, Colin Smith. Like we started to learn about all of these niggas. The next thing you know, we end up a fucking John Ryder come out of nowhere. You know, and it's the same thing with Boots. You know, you get Karen Chuckazine, even though Karen is nice, y'all. Like Cody Crowley fucked it up. I'm gonna keep it tall. Cody Crowley the one that fucked it up, because when Cody got the fight, when Boots signed with him, remember that was a big fight. Cody was a big fight. You know, it was Cody, it was Boots, it was Virgil, it was Rashidi Ellis, it was Karen, it was Castillo Claxton, and what's the other brother name? It was Mike Alvarado. What's his name, Mike Alvarado? I'm gonna get the brother name real fast, y'all. Give me 1 second, because I remember that 147 division at the time. You know, when Keith was champion, when Porter was champion, and they wouldn't give Boots his opportunity. You know, in 2018, when what you call it became Bud Crawford moved up to the 147 division and fought Jeff Horn and shit. Yeah, it was Boots, Virgil, Stanionis, Rashidi Ellis, Villa, Castillo Claxton. It was the Russian guy, Abayev, Karen, the boy Armando Alvarez, and Chris Van Horden. At that time, those the niggas that was up and coming popping at 147. And Boots fought a lot of them niggas. That's why, yeah, and Cody Crowley, you know. And at that time, remember Cody had a surgery. He had surgery on his eyes. You know, but it was always great performances. He always put on great performances, especially when he did the Neo and Matrix shit. Changed the game, man. People started looking at him like, what the fuck? Yeah. Boots was on that. And everybody knew that. That's why you had people in PBC like Keith Thurman and Sean Porter. Well, you ain't beat no champion. That nigga went and fought Sergey Limpinus, and the only fighter to knock him out. Only fighter to knock Limpinus out. Limpinus out. You know? And people can go back and look it up. People can go back and look that shit up. That shit right there. That shit right there in front of everybody's face. That boy was putting pressure and pain, bro. Facts, Boots, the two TG, the truth. Yeah, he retired too. And he retired. You know, but even Chris Van Harden was nice too. You know, I tell people like me, I'm heavy on resumes. And what I mean by that, because you know, I go down the line. I check every fighter, see every like all right, since we on Boots, I'm gonna stick with Boots' resume, right? I'm gonna go through Boots' last 12 fights, right? His last 12 fights. Castillo Clayton, right? He was a 2012 Olympian, WBA and NABA welterweight champion since 2019. 6-time national champ. That's Castillo. Boots beat him, knocked him out, put him to sleep. Limpinus, an IBF champion. 2017, remember he defeated Kundu, became an IBF champion. Boots demolished him. Stanionis, WBA champion. 2016 Olympian. We watched Boots destroyed him. Thomas Delorme, we watched Bud and Boots destroyed him. Bud was a heavy name and he was ranked real high. I think he was like number 9, number 8 at the time when he was ranked. The WBO route, remember, Boots was Bud mandatory for the WBO. Never got the opportunity. When he fought the Russian guy, the boy Ayabov, whatever his fucking name is, Boots demolished him. But he was ranked like between 10 and number 7, if I'm not mistaken. Was it I think it was the WBO route or the IBF route. But I know when he fought Limpinus, he went fully the IBF route. Dave Avianesia, we watched him become a late replacement because Cody Crowley fucked it up by his, I just had eye surgery, all this and that. Bro, you never should have said no dumb shit like that. But at the end of the day, we seen what Boots did to Avianesia. Avianesia was the WBA champion. He was a WBA champ and a European and a Euro welterweight champion. Villa was ranked number 5. We watched Villa and Rashidi go to war. A war. Karen, And we're gonna go Karen. Karen became Boots mandatory 2 times. Now he's the mandatory again, fighting in the IBF eliminator right now. But Karen, a straight dog. We're gonna go to Damian Fernandez. Fernandez was a heavy hitter, power hitter, putting shit out. Boots clinked his clock. Armando Alvarez. This nigga is just like Virgil Ortiz. But this nigga was a true power hitter. You know, he was ranked, he was high on the rankings. All facts. For me, Boots is 29 in June, and his resume is very mediocre. He needs some big names. Yeah, listen, he need everybody. Timmy T, this is what I tell people, right? The names everybody want him to fight is all the commentator names. But all of the names that I'm naming here is heavy. It's heavy. Raymond Serrano. Nigga was a junior Olympian, an international gold medal champ, a bronze medal in 2016, a motherfucking silver medalist. Like, come on. This ball was putting in praying and pressure. Then Chris Van Harden, everybody know who these fighters is. But it's that when Boots get in there and make them look like shit, it's like, it's how Roy Jones was. Roy Jones was so good. Every time he came in and put pressure and pain, he was putting niggas down. No, but he do need the name. He do need a name. But I'm gonna ask people: is Virgil in his prime? He been in 3 different weight classes, ain't fight nobody. Lubin is not a name, so I don't want people to say Lubin is a name or Lubin is not a name. We all know Lubin for getting knocked the fuck out. Lubin been chinny since the amateurs. You know what I mean? My brother Lubski, Boots have high expectations. He does, but at the end of the day, the same shit happened over there in PBC. People got to go back. No, I've been watching this kid for a very long time. If people been watching his career, because he been at welterweight for 10 years. I want people to know that, right? He been there for 10 years. Couldn't get none of the fights. Bud ran from that nigga, bro. He was Bud mandatory for 2.5 fucking years. Never gave him the opportunity. Then when he went the IBF route, the world seen in 2022 how Earl Spence was running around collecting the titles. Then when Boots knocked Castillo Clayston out, who was there? Front row. Earl Spence. Because everybody wanted to see the fight. Because everybody knew Castillo was a fucking problem. And what Boots did to him? Changed that nigga whole game plan, bro. Nigga ain't been the same since. Ain't been the same since. Ain't been the same since. You feel me? And I'm gonna keep it tall. I agree with all of y'all, especially with toe to toe too, who said it like once he signed with Eddie, we all knew how that shit was gonna go. And it's not Eddie's fault. It's that motherfuckers don't want to do business with Eddie because they try to they want to keep Eddie out the business. And I learned that. He came over here to the States. You feel me? When he came to the States and back in 2017, you know, and he couldn't sign all of the big fighters. So we end up getting the Boo Boo Andres. We end up getting the Canelo. Remember, Canelo got that big ass deal from the Zone, you know. But now when you look at it, look at the Zone now. Everybody under them except for PBC. Except for PBC. Except for PBC. Zuffa. You know. But hey man. I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. The business of boxing is so shady, bro. It's crazy, man. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. You know, and when Boots fought Stanionis, when I seen that fight, me personally, I thought, damn, this Boots last fight with Eddie, PBC gonna go PBC route. Go the PBC route. He didn't go. He re-signed with Matchroom. Now look. And another thing, y'all, if we watch Virgil Ortiz come back this year, he's the biggest bitch in the world, bro. If Virgil Ortiz come back this year and have a fight summertime, fall, or winter, he's the biggest bitch, bro. Because it's Virgil who don't want to fight, y'all. Yeah, you see that? But Timmy, but you see how DeAndre career went when he signed with Eddie? Now, if he would have got that Billy Joe situation, we would have been cool. But when you look at it, it's still a European tour. There's nothing wrong with that. But the names that we want to see, They not heavy over here. So the names that Eddie giving them, they're heavy across seas. So me, I always give respect to both fighters. You know what I mean? I always give respect to both fighters, you know. But yeah, that Billy Joe shit, that shit crazy. That PD situation crazy, bro. That shit crazy. You know, but me personally, bro, I don't trust snack fighters. You know? I don't trust snack fighters. You know, shit can have been contaminated or a nigga could have swapped the nigga shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, when it come to Vada and snack, bro, I don't trust them. Cause I'm just going by what I grew up and synced in my life. You know, I'm 42 years old, bro. I seen the biological scam. I seen the biological situation. You know what I mean? And all the nigga did was just come home and start his own doping agency, got it up, had got his friends to run it, and they all in cahoots. Why you think a lot of snack fighters force motherfuckers to take VADA testing? You know? You know? But yeah, y'all might see me later on Mill City, you know, the clip up, you know. No, we was cooking yesterday, y'all. Shout out my brother Mill. Hey Mill, what up? Shout out Mill City Boxing, man. Shout out Zab Judah. Shout out Michael Fox. I mean, I appreciate y'all. Shout out my brother GHB TV. You know, hey son, what up? Hey son, what up? But y'all gotta go check it out, man. You know, we was cooking yesterday, man. It was a great one. Victor Conte history is well documented and public. Don't understand why any boxer would. Facts. That's the hey Tim. That's my problem. That's what I was trying to explain to Zab yesterday. You know, if we know Victor Conte history, so why joining? We seen what he did to people's career. We watch him fuck people. Talk about, bro. He fucked Sammy Sosa life up so bad, the nigga became light skinned. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. And that's a motherfucking fact. And Rachel Donner know. They know. They know. They know. Nonito know. He know. It was a straight guinea pig. A hamster running on the wheel. That nigga was a hamster running on the wheel. When Nutty Professor came out, and that hamster that turned big, remember Professor Clump? That was Victor fucking Conte in the lab. That nigga was Dexter Laboratory for real. Yeah, Victor Conte is Professor Clump. Know what I mean? Professor Clump. When that nigga came home, he became Buddy Love. All the boxers started to love Buddy. Yeah, but Nonito Donaire, he was the fucking hamster on the wheel, man. Know what I mean? Because I pay attention to everything Victor Conte says and state, and I literally heard him came out his mouth. He's saying every fighter that work with me, they take something different. They're not taking the supplement. So, you know, I watched the person asking. Shout out Marty, the manager. I watched him ask Victor Conte, do snack fighters take the same supplements that I will purchase that you sell? You know what he said? He said, no. What I sell to y'all, I don't give my fighters. He shoot his fighters up. He inject them with stuff. So that shows right there that Victor Conte knew that Bud Crawford never was anemic. The shit that you were shooting them up with became anemic. I want y'all to pay attention. Behind the scenes, a lot of these niggas get therapeutic use exemption. We watched Turkey back in 2024 of December. The time he was saying, Boots 1 and 2 tune-ups. And Bud Crawford, he got to get a surgery on the shoulder. Then I watched, it was like probably 3 months later, Bud did an interview. And the guy asked him, the Mexican guy asked him, how is your shoulder? No, it was at the press conference. How is your shoulder? Bud ain't knew what the fuck he was talking about. Bud was like, what you talking about? He said, your shoulder. Then you get a surgery? The nigga totally forgot because it's all made up. I want you to remember, Floyd Mayweather had therapeutic use exemption too when he fought Pacquiao. And Pacquiao was like, yo, how you get that? I just tore my rotator cuff. Can I get one too? No. And the key thing about therapeutic use exemption, even if you got steroids in your system, you can't pop positive. because the therapeutic use exemptions cover and hides this shit. I just want people to know. Listen, it's a lot of loopholes around this shit. All you gotta do, man. You know how they say just follow the money. It's trash, but the snack fighters are getting it. The facts, they getting a whole. I want the shit the fighters getting. I want the shit the fighters getting, bro. But I watch him literally tell Marty, the manager Marty, that what Devin Haney take, Bud Crawford don't take. What Bud take, Keyshawn don't take. What Keyshawn take, Shakur don't take. He was breaking down everything, and I was like, wow. This shit crazy. But one thing about Victor, he always opened his mouth. That was big about Pacquiao too. Hey, remember Timmy? See, a lot of people don't know why Floyd Mayweather kept saying Pacquiao was on steroids neither. No, we know about him moving up. We know a nigga that's moving up multiple weight classes, jumping different weight classes. We know it's that Gante. But we all know that at the end of the day, Floyd kept saying that nigga's a drug cheat because he was fucking with Victor. But I get word. Shout out to Crawford, because listen, if Crawford would have never said this shit, none of us would have never knew. And I believe him. Crawford put out there that no Mayweather was no IV after every fight. Yeah, but we fight all night. These fighters don't get that. They only get that sometimes. Bud got that because supposedly he had a shoulder injury when he never did. He never got a surgery or nothing. Just like Mayweather, but the Pacquiao situation, they knew Pacquiao tore his rotator cuff. Why Pacquiao couldn't get it either? Floyd, what the fuck he was hiding? Because when I go back, because I'm a Floyd fan, and when I seen Floyd in that fight, in that ring, that nigga looked big as shit. He looked real swole. He reminded me of American. Was it Jalen Love? What's the brother name? American fought back in 2014. These things are banned like Advils. Wow. Yeah, Floyd. I fully agree with you, Timmy. But damn, hey, we fight all night. Advils too? Wow. Yeah, this is something new I just learned just now. Advils. Wow. Advil. Wow. That's wowzers, man. That's really crazy, man. That's really crazy. Hey, man, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful what you put in your system. You gotta be careful who you deal with. And listen, 9 times out of 10, a lot of y'all gotta be careful with your trainers. Because sometimes your trainer is just there for a bag. And the shit people would do, and people gotta remember a lot of these people, they chill with each other. Yo, what's up with this? Come on. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, Berlanga, Zuffa, a lot of people that's going over there to Zuffa, it's starting to look like Koch Records. Remember when Koch Records came out? Yeah, Advils will pop you dirty. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, hey Timmy, that's why a lot of these niggas when they listen, because Bud Crawford mentioned that shit. He told Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan show. He told Joe Rogan that he get hooked up to IV, and Joe Rogan was like, well, he said, yeah, Floyd Mayweather used to do it all of the time. So when I heard that shit, me, I'm a felon. This first thing I think is, y'all flushing y'all system. What the fuck is you trying to hide? What is you trying to hide? Like what? I know, like, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I ain't trying to incriminate myself, but when a motherfucker, like you pop pills or you on probation, you bagging up weed or any kind of illegal drugs, and you want to clean your system, you run to the hospital, get an IV that should have flushed your system, go see your PO, your urine clean. It don't work with weed though. But come on, man. And that's how me and Zab was going through it a little bit. Zab was on my ass about Devin. Word was, people coming out here. Brian Norman Sr. put the word out there, that Dev was microdosing and shit. And you know how you know me. No, if you hmm, I gotta be careful what I say, man. Um when you growing up from the amateurs to the pros before you become a snack fighter, there's no doctors in the gyms with you. And you're in a boxing gym. But when you end up becoming a snack fighter, now you got all of these doctors in the gym training with you. For what? Why? First of all, doctor, why the fuck you here? Why the fuck you here? That's what. Why are you here? You understand me? And then when you got professional fighters going over to the UFC gyms and getting working, and it's really getting working with the doctors over there, it's something totally different. When you watch Keyshawn and Shakur Stevenson at the UFC performance endurance facility, bro, it makes you think something else. Like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, is it really that? You know, and shout out to Shakur Stevenson. He whooped T.O. ass. But sometimes I always think about, and I always go back to when Shakur went to the corner and he looked over the bud and said, and what he said out his mouth. And I know he was saying, yo, I can't feel none of that shit. I can't feel none of that shit, bro. You know what I mean? And you know, back in the 90s and 80s and shit, when it was 8 weight divisions, it was cool to move up. You know what I mean? And you ain't really had to cut weight that much because it was only 8 weight divisions. When you look at this shit now, you got niggas just jumping, skipping divisions, bro. Same thing Pacquiao was doing. So if Pacquiao was on that shit and he was fucking with the same evil genius, well, y'all niggas not on that shit. So all of y'all niggas clean. I'm just saying though. I'm just asking a question. So all I want to know, I'm just asking a question. I mean, I told Zab yesterday, don't kill the messenger. But shout out Zab Jew, the undisputed champ, man. You know, Soup, that guy, man. You know, shout out to Haney's. You know, shout out to Haney's. You know, I do shit to big. You know, but I always got to tell the truth. You know, I gotta tell you the truth. You know, but I like the bid a lot. You know, speaking on Devin Haney, do I think Devin Haney a great fighter, a cool fighter? Yes. You know, one of the smartest fighters coming into business at a young age with his own promotional company. He got a great jab, but you know, he always it's two things Devin do. He got bad habits, you know. He'll disband his jab second half of the fight, which I don't understand. And he still got that bow and arrow jab. You know, to fight Ryan Garcia, bro, you gotta fix that jab. You know, I like Mickey in his corner, Mickey Bay in his corner. I like what Mickey do, how Mickey got him, you know. But Devin Haney, it's like Shakur Stevenson. No, y'all all talk shit about Tank Davis about a rehydration clause. But Shakur out here telling people, yo, you gotta get a rehydration clause. That's some bitch shit. That's some bitch shit. You know? And what Dev, getting back to Dev, is no, y'all niggas talk all this bad shit about Tank, but ain't none of you niggas pay-per-view stars. I watched Devin Haney came out and said Tank was a over well, he was a underachiever, some shit like that. Bro, you know Tank did that shit way before all of y'all. Tank resume is bigger and better than all of y'all. His resume aging like fine wine. See, niggas look at Loma. Listen, I'm always tell people, Lomachenko was ass. When he first came over here to the States, Salido whooped his ass. Then when you watch all of the other names that he fought in those low weight classes, Lomachenko was a weight bully. When he fought Rickendall, he made Rickendall jump up 2 weight classes. But the weight that he came in on fight night was diabolical. Same thing with Gary Russell Jr. Diabolical. What's one thing about Top Rank? Todd and all them niggas. I'm gonna put that smut on Bob Arum too, cause he know what the fuck is going on too. He know what the fuck going on. He know what his stepson doing. He knew about that cheating shit Tyson Fury did in that lawsuit when that lawsuit dropped. That's why I told Devin Haney, Cotto or Wilder, them niggas got cheated and lost, and they ain't get their old back. But you did the most bitches shit in the world. And the key thing I was talking about the lawsuit too is, bro, if Ryan Garcia, hey Timmy, I'm gonna ask y'all a question, toe to toe. If You go to probation, right? Whatever. And you know you wasn't smoking weed. But you end up taking a piss and they come back positive for weed. And you're like, hold the fuck up. Nah. I want a blood test or I want you to pull my hair. And they end up giving you a blood test and pull your hair. And when they give you the blood test, it comes back negative for marijuana. And you take your hair follicle and it comes back negative for marijuana. Who you going to believe? Your blood or the piss that they played with and contaminated? Because Ryan blood test and his hair follicle came back negative for Ostarine. But shout out Fox who came in and broke the situation down. But like I tell people game plan, they plan B was something different. So that's why when Scooter came in, see a lot of people would try to put that smut on Scooter, but I can't put that smut on Scooter. Because Scooter he was there. You feel me? Throughout the whole camp, Ryan was testing negative, right? Right? Even that Monday, if Ryan tests positive before the fight, wouldn't the A sample would have been test positive because you get tested before the fight. The world synced it with him and Barrios. He had the 14-day weigh-in and they had the 7-day weigh-in. The 14-day weigh-in, remember Ryan was like at 154, 150. And then he had to pay $5,000. Then the 7-day weigh-in, this brother was at one something. Ryan was at like 147, at 148. And you get tested there. So the world got to see Ryan did that intentionally. So the world can see, like, hold the fuck up. That's what you did before the fight. So if you did all of that and you was clean, why after the fight you popped dirty? Then the chick that found you, that popped you dirty and tested you positive, she resigns right after she turned in the paperwork. Like, come on, yo. Nobody talk about Kim. Nobody talk about, but we do. Over here, we all facts, no opinions. We do. We stay on Kim ass. Like the wash tag on her drawers, bro. I'm on your ass like the wash tag on your boxes. I mean, it just be alive. It be a lot going on out here, man. Be a lot going on out here, man. You know? But I appreciate everybody. I'm about to, about to roll up real fast, go to this little commercial break, see how this shit situation is. But listen, y'all, I appreciate everybody that tune in and pop up. But please, we building a community. Everybody subscribe to each other, and certain your brothers, when y'all go live, man, send me that shit. You drop a video, send me that. I'm gonna pull up on you. And if you want Instagram, my John Louis 13, or you want Facebook, it's all facts, no opinions. Send me a DM, send me a journal messenger. We exchanged. I'm gonna pull up on you all the time. And wherever I'm at, y'all coming with me. Shout out Mill City, be over there in Mill. Shout out to We Fight All Night, pull up. Shout out my nigga Hannibal who pull up. I appreciate a lot of people from the community. Shout out Low Nose Boxing. Hey, Low, what it is, my nigga? Low pulled up. Nah, I mean, I gotta get my brother Santos over there. But say, I don't, I respect my young nigga, you know what I mean? My little brother, he don't fuck with social media, and I respect that, because you get your face hot for some dumb shit sometimes, you know what I mean? Popping up on these social medias, and you can respect the person with a mind state like that because it shows that they on a job, they on a P's and Q's. And I respect my little brother for that. That's why we got my motherfucking joint and we on this joint. So, yeah, it's all facts, baby. Santos Boxing, baby. You know what it is, man. From Philly to Florida, from Florida to Philly, nigga, we on your ass. You understand me? All but from New York. You know what I mean? So you know how you know what it is, man. You know what it is. We gonna hold it down. And anywhere I go, I'm gonna represent us. I'm gonna represent y'all. I'm gonna represent everybody in the motherfucking chat. Whatever platform I pop up on, I'm representing us because it's a community. I'm representing us. But sometimes, I like to bid, man. I like to have fun, I like to, laughter is good for the soul, it's good for the heart, man. As long as I can put a smile on a person's face or make you laugh, it counts. It's all that count, man. I don't mean, when it comes to this boxing shit, man, I don't mean no harm. We just bitting, baby. It's called debating, right? You got the Democrats, you got the Republicans, you got your certain grassroots, you got your independents who never fucking won. That's why I became a Republican. You know what I mean? But I want my sovereignty back. But at the end of the day, you know what it is, man. You know what it is. I don't mean no harm. Shout out to Haney's. I appreciate you. But Sean Haney, I will whoop your ass. I will whoop Devin ass. Know what I mean? Line it up. Line it the fuck up. Know what I mean? And I whoop Ryan Cousin ass. I'm just saying though. And I got a son that's an amateur. 3-time champ. He'll fuck you niggas up. Know what I mean? You know, I just like the bid, man. That's all you can do on here. Just bid, man. Have fun. But yeah, you got some people that'll take that shit serious. But it ain't that serious, man. It ain't that serious. Niggas don't owe nobody no motherfucking money and none of that. You hear me? You know, but yeah, yesterday was a good live, man. We had fun. It was the bid, you know. We went viral, baby. But you know, once all facts come on, I'm gonna ask you the questions that people really wanna ask. But I'ma say that shit. I'ma ask you. And when I ask you, niggas gonna know, like, yeah, we wanna hear that answer. We wanna know. The world wanna know. And when you get certain, like when certain people do interviews, me personally, I think a lot of these people sign NDAs because you know, when you was dealing with Riyadh season, you had to sign an NDA dealing with Riyadh season. You know what I mean? I'm just saying though, and that's a fact. You couldn't expose your purse, nothing, none of that shit. But I'm gonna get up on out of here. I appreciate you. It's the cook up hour. You know, my apologies. I was off yesterday, but no. Shout out to my brother Mill City Boxing. Shout out Soup. You know what I mean? I appreciate you. No champ. Shout out M Fox. I appreciate you. You know, all prize fighters, man. I appreciate you. Hey, Greg, I appreciate you daily, even helping my son secure a title shot, bro. Securing the title and winning the belt. I appreciate you daily. I appreciate everybody, man. You know, but it's all facts, baby. I'm up on out of here. You know, let me run through, you know, the comments, everybody that pulled up. I appreciate you. Shout out We Fight All Night TV. I need y'all to go over there and hit that motherfucking subscribe button. Shout out to the beautiful Art Queen. Shout out my brother Toe to Toe Boxing. Y'all already know Timmy. Shout out my brother Timski. I mean my brother Timmy T88. You know, listen, it's a community over here, man. Shout out Louis Azza. You know, facts boots is the truth. You know, Santos Boxing, Mill City Boxing, my brother Frontline, Round One TV.